Italian manufacturer ViTrains had a brief foray into the UK market with their Class 37 and Class 47 offerings. This rail exclusive limited edition is probably one of the best of those offerings. Let's take a closer look.
Hi, welcome to my review today. I'm actually going to break from the norm here today. I'm actually going to do a review of a ViTrains model. This is the first review I've done of one of these models. I do have a number of these locomotives. This particular one is actually part of a limited edition, a rail exclusive edition. Comes in this very nice outer box. And it's for, as I say, a direct rail services class 47, number 47813 actually. The locomotive name is Solent, and it's in the DRS livery, and it comes with DCC sound and a Zimo. It's got a Zimo DCC sound decoder installed in it, and these are all the various functions on that. So it's quite comprehensive actually, list of functions here. So this looks to be very interesting when we get this on the layout and actually try out some of these extra features that you might normally get. So it's going all the way up to F28, which my Hornby software actually won't support, so I won't even be able to invoke those higher items. But we'll go through all the ones that we can do later on. So this is interesting, as I said. The unboxing here is pretty easy on these coaches. The ViTrains always come in this standard foam type box, and I actually think it's quite a nice form of packaging, albeit a little bit weak in terms of support there at the end, I would say. But overall, it's pretty nice. It keeps the locomotive nice and safe in there. So we'll take the locomotive out in a minute. You've got some etched plates here. On the ViTrains models, you'll tend to get these rather large detailing kits. Now they've got the plastic actually still connected like that. You have to break it out yourself, so you need to take a little bit of care. You need to get a sharp knife when you're doing that. But they tend to come with a lot of detailing parts in them, and they tend to come with spare parts, spare detailing parts, which is good. So well done to ViTrains for that. So if you do lose them, you tend to get a few extra pieces usually in those kits. So that I haven't opened that yet, and let's take out the locomotive itself. Again, it's typical for the ViTrains to be wrapped like this with a plastic kind of sleeve, and we can take a first look at the locomotive, and it does look pretty splendid in the very nice direct rail services livery. These are interesting. I mean, ViTrains would have been seen as a kind of a bargain vendor in the past. But I suppose a model like this usually doesn't really fall into that category. This is up there with I suppose a lot of the from certainly price wise, you'd be paying roughly the same as you'd pay for a standard Bachmann type model or Hornby model, or certainly more expensive probably than a Hornby model. So let's see, is that worth it? So just taking an initial look around the model here, you can see that there isn't a lot of actually detail fitted. So they really are relying on you to break out the detailing parts and start installing them. So there's very little actually on the model, which is quite different from, say, a Bachmann or a Dapol in particular. Dapol tend to employ or insert most of the detailing parts for you in advance. Does have spring buffers, nice little spring buffers there. There's some nice glazing on the cab there, and take the front and back. So we don't have a driver installed on either side. The paint job looks very good, and you've got this very nice grille effect here, a metallic kind of grille effect, which actually looks quite realistic. You've got the fans on top there, and then the grille effect on the far side. So the top of the locomotive is actually quite a nice level of detail. I'll add some additional close-up photographs as well, so that you can see them. The whole direct rail services logo is nicely detailed there. You've got the locomotive name there, some additional glazing, some more venting here, which is actually good quality. They look like real vents as opposed to just molded plastic pieces. So that's a nice job there. The handrails look good. There's grab rails at the front there as well, which you can see. coming out in detail. Again, the spring buffers. Some nice detail there in the bogies and on the underside. So this is it is good. It is a good looking model, and it's got a good level of weight in it as well. We'll weigh it off for the summary, so you get a feel for how much this weighs. So overall, this is quite nice looking. I think this is looks like a very good effort from ViTrains. It's probably the best of the locomotives I have from them. I have a couple of Class 37s, and this certainly looks the best of the ones that I have. And the sound on this is reputed to be pretty good. So I think we look forward to actually seeing this on the layout now. Okay, so join me in a minute and we'll give this a run out.
Okay, we're just getting ready to go here. This is one of the onboard announcements, which is pretty effective, I think. We'll just get the lights on now in a minute and we'll start getting the engine up. So it's a nice sounding model. This is the onboard Zimo Sound, which is good. I have a Zimo on one of my Bachmann Class 47s as well, and it's got a good quality of sound and a lot of options, a lot of control over the locomotive as well, and from a driving perspective. And as we saw earlier on, there's a lot of different announcements available here with this particular locomotive. We're just going to go see a few samples of them here during the running session, but you saw the listing earlier on, which is pretty comprehensive. So we'll get underway, and some nice sounding effects there. And very smooth. These locomotives are quite weighty, as you'll see, 536 grams, comparable weight to any typical Bachmann locomotive. They do have a good drive on them. Each of these bogies has got 4 drive wheels on it. So it's a good performer. Just a word about the coaches here. We're running with a mixed rake of Bachmann Mk2F coaches with DCC lighting, and Hornby Mk2E coaches also with lighting, and that's the topic of a totally different video, but I won't go through that here. So that's just I'll have details in the description of those particular coaches, and there are other videos that cover them, so I won't talk about those anymore here. So this locomotive's performance is very smooth. You know, it does live up to the kind of credentials of a heavyweight locomotive like this. No problems. I had no running problems at all over DC, or any of the typical obstructions you might get in terms of your points and diamonds. I use InsoFrog points, so they can be a bit problematic for some locomotives, but no problems here. This one really ran very, very well. So was a really good performance, really good pulling power as well. I think these locomotives could take very large rakes. They are pretty powerful, and with the good Zimo controller in there, you've got some good power as well. So we'll gradually speed this up. It's really just to give you an idea of the slow performance, the slower running performance, and how good it is. And we'll just try out one of those announcements again, actually, as the train passes through a station. It's a kind of an interesting effect to the announcements actually coming off the locomotive, but it provides a very nice ambient sound as the train goes through the station, so it's quite a nice effect, and it seemed to work quite well here, this locomotive. Again, all credit, I think the sound on this is very good, and it does uplift this locomotive quite a bit. So we'll start getting a little bit faster. A couple of notes: there's no cab lighting in this locomotive. It's only got the directional lighting and the headlight, and they're just a single control. There's no driver in the locomotive, which is a pity as well. And we're gradually starting to speed things up here. I enjoyed this running session. I like this locomotive, actually. It's good. It's a pity about a couple of those things that I'm missing, but it is a nice looking locomotive. I like the livery, and as I said, its running performance is very good, which is always a good thing, and coupled with a nice sound controller, that gives you a very nice combination. So given that this is an out-of-box offering with the Zimo Sound included, I think that's quite appealing, and I'll kind of cover that in my summary later. I think it's definitely something worth consideration if you can get this at the right kind of price. And this is all pretty good, and a nice set of coaches as well to go with it. So again, I think the overall combination in this video is actually pretty good. There is a nighttime running session as well, which was really focused on the coaches. I'll have a link to that in the description, so you can see this particular locomotive and train running in a darkened environment and what it looks like. So we're really coming to the end of the session now. We'll bring her into the station for one last time, and we'll bring her to a close. Again, very nice slowing down speed, and then again playing that announcement again, which is again gives a very nice ambient effect. And overall, a very strong performer. I do think this locomotive is good. It's comparable to the Bachmann locomotives in terms of performance. These may be seen as kind of budget locomotives, but that's certainly not the case in terms of the performance and this aspect of them. So overall, a very satisfactory running session. Very pleased with it. Very pleased with the sound as well. And really overall a nice session, a nice locomotive. So hope you enjoyed that particular session, and hopefully give you some insight into how this performs in the real world. Okay, let's get a summary of what we've been looking at here. So this is the ViTrains V2002, it's class 47, locomotive number 47813, also known as the Solent. It is a rail exclusive limited edition, which includes onboard Zimo DCC sound, and it's in the Direct Rail Services livery. It has directional lighting, and it also features spring buffers and a comprehensive detailing kit. The unbox weight of the locomotive is 536 grams, which is a pretty good weight for a locomotive, and the recommended retail selling price, really you'll see it at between 159 199, around about that sort of price range, really through secondary channels now as pre-owned stock or on eBay. So that's the kind of price you'd expect to pay for it, which is not a bad price. If you get the lower end of that, that's not a bad price for a DCC sound equipped class 47 of this kind of quality. So definitely that's kind of worth looking at. So the next thing is the scorecard. So the running performance of this, as I said, is good. I'm going to give it a 4.5 star on performance, which is a really good score, and I think you'll see that from the running session. It does perform well, and it does perform well on DC and DCC as well. So that's a good score. The appearance, 4 star. It's not a bad appearance. I do like the livery. It's well applied, but it doesn't have quite the detail that your Bachmann has out of the box. I think with a little effort with the detailing kit and maybe a little bit of weathering, I think you could get a very nice effect. But that's not out of the box. You've got to put a little bit of work to get to that look. So that's the main reason I'm kind of knocking the appearance down a little bit. These locomotives don't tend to have a lot of detail fitted. They give you quite a bit of detail in the detailing kit, but it's still nevertheless a nice looking locomotive. There's good detail on the bogies and the body. So a 4 star isn't a bad score, but just knocking it down a little bit, because certainly an equivalent Bachmann, for example, will be more detailed out of the box. The sound from the Zimo controller is very good, giving it a 4.5 star here. Good variety of sounds, and really probably the only room for improvement would be putting a bit more bass in the speaker. It is a very good 4.5 stars is a very good sound score. So again, for an out of the box factory ready version. Extra features, there aren't a lot. We do have the spring buffers and we have the detailing kit. We don't have any extra lighting, cab lighting. We don't have a fitted driver, etc. So a little bit small on the extra feature side of things. Packaging is pretty good. Documentation a little bit sparse. Both the engine locomotive documentation and the DCC documentation is a little bit sparse. So you'd really, with the DCC sound controller, if you want to do any customization there, you're going to need to look up the reference documentation on the Zimo controller. You'll have to search for that online. Overall, I'm giving it a 4 star. It's a good 4 stars, and I am recommending it. It is a nice looking and good performing locomotive, and with that combination of the Zimo sound built in, that's a pretty good combination. So definitely worth considering if you're in the market for a DRS liveried Class 47, and hopefully the running session give you a good feel for that, for what it's like. I know that there have been concerns over quality with the ViTrains locomotives. I haven't had any issues myself with them. If you look online, you will see probably some concerns, and maybe that's one of the reasons they probably sit in a slightly lower price range than some of the equivalents from either Hornby or Bachmann. Still, this is a nice offering. This rail exclusive limited edition comes in a very nice box, and I think it's a very good combination, and definitely, I'd say, worth consideration if you can get it at the right price. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's review. This was an interesting one for me. I haven't gone through ViTrains in any detail in the past, so this was hopefully of use to you as well if you're looking at these. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and hopefully we'll see you on another video in the near future. Okay, bye for now and happy modelling.